So welcome everybody to the next episode of the Fitness Network podcast. Tonight I am joined by Laura and Ryan Baptiste. So if you guys want to give us a little intro on yourselves.
Ladies first. Got to get that in quick.
So I'm Laura and I run Get Bronze, which is like a tanning company for bodybuilding kind of fitness shows around the UK, and we've been running for like 6.5 years now, tanning for all of the big events in the UK. So we've got our first one again finally next weekend after COVID. Fingers crossed it'll all go well. Yeah.
I came up with a name, by the way, Get Bronze.
Nice.
Before I let you know.
In fact, the whole idea of doing tanning, I think you did.
Yeah, the whole thing. I said, why don't you do tanning? Yeah.
Love it.
That was in 2010. I remember we talked about that. Yeah. My name is Ryan John-Bapiste. I'm an IFBB pro, in Physique, and yeah, I've been competing since 2009. I turned an IFBB pro in 2014. I've been to the Olympia once in 2016. I've now qualified this year, but yeah, that's another story.
We'll just say it stands for the following year as well, and then you're well in.
I hope so.
Well, we'll see. I don't know about that. It might not.
It will.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah.
Okay, so how did you both get into the fitness industry? I think you kind of alluded that poor Laura got dragged into it, but
Yeah.
I mean, so I first started competing in 2009. We got together in 2007. So yeah, I didn't compete for 2 years before that.
No.
Yeah, that's strange. Yeah. So started competing in 2009, and it was like smaller shows at the time, and then
He went to his first show with no tan, no music,
we used
no stage clothes.
Central Pay?
Nothing, I don't think.
No.
The first one.
No, I remember buying a Central
Or maybe
Pay.
on the day you might have bought.
No, I remember we went to Boots and we bought like what was it called?
Yeah,
Central
tan,
Pay. Yeah, that. I didn't think it did anything, but we bought baby oil. I remember bringing baby oil and putting that on. So it was just pure shine. It was just loads of shine on stage. But that's when I started, and then fast forward to 2010, 2011, give or take. Then I think Laura what was you doing at the time? We had a gym.
Yeah, so I worked like with young offenders for all my career really, and needed a change, and then was working. So Ryan was doing quite well competitions in England and started judging at some shows, and I was without children on a Sunday, kind of going along just to watch most of the time. And then some of the organisers were like, "Why don't you work backstage? You're here anyway. Like you can help out backstage." So I started doing that and just doing all the backstage stuff for quite a lot of shows.
Runner.
Yeah, my clipboard.
Yeah,
and
you're pretty good at it, though.
Yeah, they were quite disappointed. So eventually, then I realised there was only maybe one, maybe two kind of tanning companies in the UK really for competitions, and I wanted a big career change. I was kind of done with my career with young offenders and stuff, and so yeah, Ryan was like, "Why don't you just tan at the shows?" You know, I already had quite a lot of contacts in the industry at that point through Ryan, and so I approached a few federations and said, if I started up a company, would you have us as your tanner? And they were all really positive, so I just got a qualification in tanning and just set up on my own, and just went for it. Yeah, that's how I started. So I think the first competition I did was in 2014, just on my own. Didn't really know what I was doing really. I mean, you just kind of go and do it. And
was that the first one, 2014?
Yeah, and Preston was only just born, like 8 weeks old, and off I went to Leicester and tanned at this show, and took off from there really.
Were they like?
And that was just like me, literally. I just only tanned.
Oh no!
Huh?
Were they like a rock?
I literally
nine on the front.
Yeah, and yeah, just went for it, and then gradually took on more staff, and obviously now it got bigger and bigger, obviously, and I took on more staff and took on more shows and things, until about 2 years ago when our oldest son went to school, and then I found it really hard because he was at school every day, and then I'd have to go away a lot of weekends, so I kind of scaled it quite quite a bit back at that point and kind of said no to quite a few federations and just stuck with 2, because I don't, priorities change and stuff. So obviously I didn't want to not be able to see my son a lot of the time. So yeah, scaled it right back again. And, in time, maybe I'll build that up again and whatever. But for now, it's the right decision for the family. So
yeah. Totally get that. So Ryan, when you did your first shows, did you have a coach or did you just prep yourself for them?
Yeah, I've prepped myself all the way from 2019 to 2009. So when I first started, all the way to 2019. Yeah. So I've prepped myself for 10 years. Only recently I just got a coach like November just gone, and he prepped me for the San Marino. So ever since, I've always prepped myself. Literally.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was that quite hard for you, giving the reins over to somebody else, or?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Like, because I just listen to myself. You talk to yourself. You look at yourself, and I didn't know any different. So at the time, to prep myself is, it's easy. Just talk to yourself, right? But then when you give the reins to someone else, I find it quite hard actually. And I've found that with other things as well, aspects in just not just fitness, like even in business as well, like listening to someone and then telling you to do it that way. But I'm trying to learn and take it on board, because sometimes having different eyes, different, thought processes can work. But yeah, it's I do find it hard. Yeah,
I bet after all that time.
Yeah.
I think I'd do my own head in if I tried to prep myself.
So most people are the opposite, aren't they? Most people wouldn't ever want to prep themselves. Would always want a coach.
Yeah, and I always say, like, it's good to have a coach. I always say it's good to have a coach, because obviously I coach people as well. But it must be just a personal thing.
Yeah, I suppose if you've done it for so long, I just feel like I'd either end up a blob on stage because I would have been too nice, or I'd end up dead and looking like a rake because I'd just worked myself too much. So
yeah.
Cool.
It's hard to get that balance, surely.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so can you both describe what a typical day is for you? I don't know if there is such a thing as a typical day.
Hard, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, if you kind of pretend, well, they're going back to school soon anyway, so if you just talk about it as a school day, that's probably a lot easier.
Yeah.
So you can.
Well, like, I suppose our days are never like you kind of say, it's hard to explain a typical day because we both work for ourselves. We don't have a set kind of time of a lot of things, and we both work a lot of evenings and all over the place. But yeah, the main thing is, like, obviously the kids get us up or wake up at whatever time. Actually, they're not too bad. It's not too early.
Well, it's getting a bit earlier.
This morning was early. Yeah. But normally it's like 7:15 or so. So it's,
Yeah.
And then obviously, like, normal routine in school term is like get them up, get them dressed, get them to school, and then
I take them to school.
Ryan always drops them off. Yeah. And then I run another business as well, so a beauty business at home. So if it was a kind of work, well, it would be always a working day for me now with Dylan at school. But so I'll work in the day between like 9 and 2:30. I do kind of lashes and brows and tans and nails and stuff. And the day, obviously, after school activities, dinner, bed and bath for them. And then normally I work evenings from 7 till 9:30, 10, depending on what I'm doing in the evening, doing beauty stuff as well. And then on my laptop doing get bronzed emails, hence why everyone always says to me, why do you always reply to everything so late at night? And I'm like, that's when I do my admin. Like, when else would I do it?
And after I've dropped the kids to school, I would, depending on if the schedule of the day, but normally I'll probably come back, do some work on the laptop, emails, the client stuff, programs, and then I would find myself in the gym. I don't know, depends, but I would say roughly maybe 1-2 p.m. Then come back in time for them when they're back after school, so like 4:30, something like that. And then dinner,
out with
bath, bed, and then I get back on my laptop for maybe a few hours, and then I would now try to get to bed at about 10:30, 11. Try. So yeah, that would be a normal day.
Yeah,
that would be a normal day. I mean, obviously it changes from time to time, but that would be a typical day, Monday to Friday. Saturday, I try and have a day off, don't do anything, and Laura sometimes does a little bit in the morning, but the rest of the day is just like family time stuff. And yeah, so Saturday is one of the days we just try and just like no work, maybe a few messages on the phone, but work-wise, no, non-existent.
Yeah,
I think that's the hard thing. Like, there's so many pros and cons, I guess, there to working for yourself, because we have such a flexibility with it. So we are really fortunate, I think, that Ryan can drop the kids to school. I'm really fortunate I can always pick them up and they get to do gymnastics and swimming and those things, because I don't have a day where I don't get home till 6 or whatever, like some parents do.
But then, so there's all that stuff as well.
Yeah, but then we always do work in the evenings for a few hours and don't kind of just sit down in the evenings after bedtime. We kind of are both always working. But we're lucky that we don't have to do that at other times.
So do gymnastics, swimming,
football and
football.
Stuff. So they keep us busy.
I know.
So it's good.
So they haven't picked up the weights yet.
Obviously, through lockdown. No, they haven't. Preston always says he wants to be a bodybuilder.
Oh no, during lockdown they come into the garage.
Yeah.
I had a couple bits of it in the garage, and then they were pretending to do bits and pieces.
Preston was with the 5s he was doing.
5 kgs. Yeah. Dylan had the smallest one. He's 3 at the time. He was doing resistant band workout.
Oh, they're quite mean, those resistance bands, actually. Can get some.
They can be really hard. I think they're hard.
There's especially like I've got 20, 30 and 40 pound ones as well. So they're pretty hard.
Yeah. I don't think
Did you find training through lockdown okay?
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I got my ass kicked a little bit by the resistance bands to start off with, because they kind of make you sore in different places. And then I actually went back to my parents, and they don't have a living room anymore, because I pretty much bought like almost like it's like a Smith machine with cables in it.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah, in their house. So
amazing.
I know. Yeah, which is good. So my dad trains there now, when I'm not around and not looking or watching him. But he does it without his top on. I think then he thinks he's like Arnie, you know.
From the 70s.
But yeah, they're pretty cool about it. Okay, so maybe more pointed towards Ryan, but Laura as well. What would you say is most important to do well in this sport? Do you think it's more genetic based, or do you think it's work ethic, or maybe something more like coachability?
I mean, I'm gonna answer the easy way out. You got to have all of them. I mean, I would say so if I put it this way, I would say someone with good genetics but don't work won't do as well as someone that works hard with bad genetics. So it shows you that you have to have, there's no excuses. I mean, either way, whatever, you've got, you need to have the whole package. So whether you've got genetics or not, someone that will work hard for a long period of time with bad genetics will if you've got good genetics and you've got good work ethic, then you've got that advantage for sure.
I think people often say to me like, oh, how can you let Ryan compete, or how do you live with someone that competes? Or often I'll be telling someone and I'll say like, is it your first competition? And they're like, yeah, it's the first one and it'll definitely be the last because my wife would never let me do this again and stuff like that. So I kind of hear that quite a lot, that stuff. And I always think it's a bit odd because like, obviously I've known Ryan and he's competed for so long now, but it's never been a massive issue. Like, I don't know whether it's the way he deals with prep because he coached himself or what. Like, I don't think it changed that much when you were being coached by someone else. But I think, yeah, you've got to have your own kind of mindset of dealing with it. Like, you're deciding to do this prep. you need to then take that on board and get on with it yourself in some way. Like every now and then I'll help you out with like cooking your food for you or something if you're not home, but otherwise you pretty much do all of it just on your own because you've chosen to compete. It's not my fault or my problem really. Like I'll support it and let him go, and he doesn't, you know, obviously won't always help out with certain things that you would normally, but really like you kind of fit it around your life rather than letting it affect your life too much. And I think that's where some people might go wrong a bit too much, that they in some way become too focused and then they don't give anything to their family or friends around them, and then it can go wrong because you don't get their support then. And it, you know, I think you've got to have that real good balance, otherwise it can not work for your life either.
I mean, you need to like the way, I think I don't know, I think it's because I've been doing it for a long time, but it's obviously you need that support. First of all, you need that support, because if you're I don't know, if you haven't got that support, then it might start okay, but you know, after a while it's going to go downhill. And I've seen many people come into this industry and do a couple competitions and then disappear. You know, gone, finished. Because they've gone in too hard, too far. I mean, like when you think about it, this is, I mean, you're getting on stage. I mean, when you actually think about it, it's quite a funny thing, right? You're going on stage, showing your body off. So it's quite, for me, it's quite funny anyway. So you can't really take it too serious, right? You can't really take it too serious. So yes, work hard, but have fun doing it. Still have a social life whilst doing it, because it's going to help long term. I've seen someone, I won't mention his name, but on his wedding day, he had Tupperware on his
that's just so ridiculous.
On his own wedding day. I'm not gonna lie, I've taken the pictures on my phone. On his own wedding day, he had Tupperware. All the food was there. I said, just eat something, you know. It's your wedding day. He goes, no. He had, I think, chicken and some veg. And I was like, see, it's times like that where you're going to get carried away too much, and then what's going to happen? You're going to lose the people around you. It's just silly stopping and quitting anyway. So, you know, you've got to have that balance.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is a very obsessive sport, and it is hard when you're on prep to have balance, but I still think, you know, there's nothing wrong with saying I can order a salad with nothing added, and you can almost just put your own chicken on the plate. Like, what's wrong with that? I mean, you can still have lunch with people.
You can still be there. That's the main thing, is, you know.
Yeah.
And you can still go hard. I mean, you can still go hard on the prep. I'm one of those persons that I like condition, and I can. I mean, it might be slight genetics, but if I went and there was an event and I went to eat, I would eat. But then next day, I'm busting my ass and like making it happen. So, you know, one meal out of 49 meals a week is not going to do anything. You know, some people just need to get their head around that and maybe plan it in. Just plan these events in, plan it in to your prep, because that will definitely help. You know, you can make changes later on to compensate for that. You know, and just stay disciplined. Once you stay disciplined and, you know, you've got these little planned events, you can still have them, you know. It's easy.
Don't you have, maybe I got this wrong, but I'm sure I heard you saying that you have like a whole cheat day when you're on prep.
You will, won't you?
Yeah.
Every Saturday was all.
Oh, it's brilliant. I need to tell my coach.
But I mean, it depends on your physique and how your metabolic rate is, and how, you know, how it works. But Monday to Friday, I would go real hard. My calories weren't that high, and I train hard still, and I do a lot of cardio. Okay, I'm a cardio person, so I do a lot of cardio. So by the time I get to Saturday, it's like not even the Saturday. Well, it is a Saturday, Friday night, midnight, right? And I start. Okay, so that's when I start, and I finish midnight. Yeah, so I'll make every, you know, I'm not going to advise this because I went a little bit too extreme as the weeks went by, but it got it out of my system. Whatever I did, it got it out of my system on that day, and I'd wake up on a Sunday pretty lean, pretty lean anyway, and I could then like mentally reset for the Sunday. I go moderately okay on my calories and macros, and then I'll go hard Monday to Friday, and I'll get leaner and lean every week. So that was my way of coping with it, just to prep itself. And I was fine, you know. By the time I got to maybe the following Thursday, I started to get a bit okay, started to get a bit harder now. But I knew there's only like 2 days left.
Yeah.
So I knew the Saturday was coming, so that worked for me. This was the time. This is like last year, September, October. I did 3 competitions in a row. I did Romania Pro, Japan Pro, and San Marino Pro. So I got 2nd in Romania, 3rd in Japan, and 1st in San Marino. So I knew that system worked for me. And it was a cheat day. And I mean, you don't want to ask what I was eating, but it was a cheat day. You know, so yeah.
Oh, I'm very intrigued, but I won't. For the poor people who are still prepping.
Okay, let me just say one thing. There was a time, I think it was, I don't know what show it was. It was on a Saturday, obviously. It was about 8 p.m. I was in a bad way. It might have been 8 or maybe later. I ate so much, I struggled to walk from the kitchen, and I sat on the sofa over here. And next thing I know, I think it was a bit later. I think it was like 9 p.m. And I sat on the sofa, and next thing I know, it's 2 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, so you'd missed a couple of hours.
Okay.
I was done as a carb coma, like literally, yeah. So I kind of, you know, learned from that and managed it a little bit more.
Yeah.
I still went and won the San Marino Pro.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, like, you can do certain things that work. I won't say go that extreme, but you can do things that work
for your lifestyle.
And what helps you mentally, because like this food thing is the worst. Like it can do a lot of damage. It can do a lot of damage without knowing, little bit by little bit by little bit, and before you know it, it's bang. So I say try and be as social as you can, because that will help, and just stay disciplined with being social at the same time. It can be done. Yeah.
I agree. Okay, so tips that you can give on both somebody who's doing their first show and then somebody who is hoping to get a pro card at a show.
Who's that for?
Well, for both of you.
I mean, you can say tips on.
Obviously for tanning, definitely to book it in, and for one, book it in.
Scrub.
That would be a good start.
Book it in early, or
and follow the advice of whoever company it is, be it on their website or Instagram or whatever. And read the emails.
The time slots.
Read it, obviously lots of people are struggling in peak week to take in the information, so it's quite difficult with a lot of repetitive questions.
And should they should be prepping their skin all
I don't know what.
They should be prepping their skin all peak week.
Like really, if you want to do it for kind of a couple of months before, really, I'd say kind of at least 8 weeks. Okay. Really, it's like just scrubbing once a week, moisturising the skin.
Got to start scrubbing.
Anything really, to help. But all the information's kind of online. It's just following it really is important, because it does make a huge difference, to be honest. If someone has followed the prep, when you spray them, you can see it straight away if their skin is smooth or not. Like, you can really tell, and it does make a difference on then how it obviously ends up looking. So it's definitely worth, just if you're yeah, the first step for competing obviously is all the actual prep of the food and exercise and everything, but such a big part is like ordering a bikini in time, booking your tan and following that advice. All those things like really matter as well, and booking in your hair and makeup, because the problem is if people leave those things last minute, then they get stressed out when they don't get the space or the time they want, and it's kind of one of those things where you're like, but that's all that's left now, and you've left it too late. So just being organized is a big thing, I guess, from the starting point.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, the tips, proper tips.
What was the other question?
Or someone wanting to turn pro.
Wanting to turn pro, right? Okay, so I would first say, like, get into this industry as a hobby. So, like, it's something that you're doing on the side to kind of motivate you to train harder. That's how you should essentially come into it. And then, once you do maybe 1 or 2 shows, and see where you are with it. You might like it, you might not like it. Get like feedback from judges, your coach or other competitors, and and see where you can go with that. I mean, yes, getting a pro card is nice to have having a pro name, like having the IFBB pro status, but it's not everything. It's not everything. There's a lot of people in the industry that are successful without a pro card. So don't be, you don't need to be full whack. Okay, I need a pro card. I need to do everything I can do. I need to do everything in the world to get pro card. I mean, yes, it helps, but you don't compete just for that. Compete first of all for yourself to help motivate you reach your own goals. And maybe you've got, you're doing this for a reason, business reasons. You might want to turn it into a career where you're helping to inspire other people to do it. And that's, the way I've done it. I was lucky to get a pro card, but my main aim was to do it, get in shape, and help inspire and motivate other people, so I can then help them. I can make a career for myself and help other people to maybe get on stage or just like general lifestyle kind of goals. So, first thing is to have fun and enjoy what you're doing. And don't just do it for a pro card, because if you're just doing it for a pro card,
could be a lot of disappointment, to be honest. Because only one person most shows gets it, and I always think people put so much pressure on themselves at every show, and you can I can see it and feel it backstage. I see a lot of girls come show after show, and men, but probably the girls I talk to a bit more, and you never know who else is turning up that day. You can't control that, and all you can do is your best. And I always think that's the problem. And that you've done your best and you put it all in, but then someone else has turned up and perhaps won or whatever. The disappointment is so hard to take, but you can't take that on yourself, because you can't change anything. As long as you've done your best, like whoever's there and whatever happens that day, you can't control that. You can only do what you can do. And as long as you know that you've done that, people should still be proud of everything they've achieved, really.
Yeah, because there's times when I've been a pro, or even before, but if I talk about when I've been a pro and I've gone to shows and I've come dead last, or I've been placed, or you feel that initial disappointment because you put a lot of effort into it. But for me, it's like, okay, I think myself through. Okay, cool, all right, I wasn't in that shape. I don't know, the judges didn't like me. And then I think, I'd kind of look at the overall picture and think, I was in decent shape. People supported me. They said congrats with it, whatever. I like to tell that story. I also tell that story because it's not, you can't always win everything. So for me, I find, I find the positives out of even like losing, because, now you can share like how you can progress and better yourself going forward. And this is the story that most people don't like to share. They're just like, if they don't get that gold, they disappear.
You don't even post it.
They disappear.
Sometimes that's so frustrating.
Yeah, you mustn't disappear. So if you're looking,
because people are still inspired by your journey, and lots of people in the world have no idea about the shows. They're just so proud of what that person they're supporting has achieved.
A lot of people don't really understand, especially if you're like looking to coach just people outside the industry. A lot of people don't even know what it means. So, but what they can see is what you look like. and sharing your journey with people in the industry and out of the journey is what's going to help propel your career into, like, you know, if that's what you're looking to do, and just inspire and motivate people to get into shape in general, because that's what's going to help your story. And when I understood that, I didn't really like it. Yes, you know, you want to win shows, but if you don't, I can understand that. I can understand, like, I can take the negative and make it a positive, if you know what I mean, and come away from that disappointment of not winning, and then making it, you know, help me push for the next show, because I've done, you know, I've done quite a few shows, and I've lost some, but then I've come back and corrected a few things and got a better placing. But even if I didn't get a better placing, which there's a few shows I didn't get a good placing in, it is what it is, right? You know, it is what it is. You have no control. It's a subjective sport, and you've got to understand that. You really got to understand there's more losers than winners. So
I think people don't really think about that. It's not who's the fastest runner, you know, like when you're judging, you can't help it. Sometimes people have a look they like and they can't help that.
Simple as that. Yeah.
I mean, they might like blondes, they might like brunettes, like some of that stuff you can't control. And it's also who you're standing next to, and, you know, everything like that.
But some feedback I don't know, it might be me, but some feedback I was like, are you sure? And then you go and compete, like, I don't know, like a few months later, and you're perfect. Like, I couldn't have improved that much, you know what I mean? So that's why sometimes you've got to kind of, you know, just keep competing if that's something that you want to do. But I mean, don't take one decision or one person's opinion too strongly. You
have to be a bit more tenacious than that, don't you, really, if you want to stay in
exactly
it? No, I agree. Okay, so if people want to come to you for coaching, how do they get hold of you?
I mean, just hit me up on Instagram, I guess. I've got an email, coaching@ryanjohnbaptiste.com.
Okay.
At the moment, you know, it might seem strange, but I'm liking, so I don't know what your viewers are like, but I'm liking people that are not actually competing at the moment. I like coaching people outside of it.
I think, like, because in lockdown your whole business changed quite a lot, and now it's like suddenly there's loads of non-competitors, and
and I actually enjoy it. So at the moment I've got a lot of non-competitors, so people that like more of a lifestyle kind of goal, which I enjoy, like helping them. I mean, I would probably still do a few stage prep programs, and I still do posing, so I do help people with posing and men's physique. So I can you can reach out to me if you need to. yourposingcoach.com, and so I do 1-to-1 in the studio, but also online on like Zoom or Skype or something. So
awesome. And then Laura, they can go to, is it getbronze.co.uk?
I think so. It must be. They can. You can just select the show you're at, and fingers crossed we'll get about, I think I've got maybe 7 in between now and November. So it's good. Fingers crossed they all go ahead, and it's quite positive between now and the end of the year.
I can see next year being a chocker year.
Right? Definitely. Fingers crossed.
I think it will.
Okay, so there's just a quick fire round left to go, and we're done. Favorite guilty pleasure food?
You go first.
I don't know if it classes a guilty pleasure, because I'm never on a prep or anything like that. I always feel like I can just eat what I want to eat, because I don't really care. Mine always is pretty much ice cream. I eat a lot of ice cream if I could. I try not to all the time, but generally that's my go-to, I think, or puddings in any way, shape or form.
I'm macaroni cheese. From a savoury point of view, but and carrot cake if it's
that's a good
sweet. Yeah.
Solid choice, like it.
Yeah.
Favorite place you guys have been in the world?
Place.
For me, it's got to be
Hawaii.
Hawaii. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
We went on our honeymoon to Hawaii, so
5 weeks. Is that 5 weeks?
Yeah.
5 weeks. Yeah.
Nice. Living the lifestyle there. Favorite stage pose?
Stage pose.
You only get to do front and back, don't you?
Yeah, my front.
I don't know.
Back.
Your back's probably
back pose. Yeah, back pose probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Who do you think might possibly win Olympia this year, Mr. Olympia?
Mr. Olympia. Oh, I don't know. It's a hard one because.
Is that the bodybuilding bit?
Yeah, because Phil Heath is returning.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm gonna say, I don't know. William Bonac can't go.
Why? Can't get that.
Because he's from Holland.
I say probably can't get there.
Yeah.
It's hard, isn't it then?
So for me, it's out of Phil and Brandon. It's one of those ones. It's open. It's really open.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's gonna be out of those two. And actually, I don't know. You got Flex Lewis as well. He's actually stepped up.
I know.
So it's a hard one. I'm not sure Phil Heath is fixed his stomach issues, so we don't know. If Phil Heath is fixed his stomach issues, then he wins. Yeah, but this one is not quick fire, and she knows it. It's not quick fire.
We sort of around. I get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you have a greatest of all time bodybuilder?
Yes. I've just gone Flex Wheeler.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I like him too.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I saw a video of him posing the other day and I was like, oh
yeah.
He's like Michael Jackson on stage. It was just
and he's just like perfect physique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I wish we got a solo like that for bikini, but you know. Gonna campaign for it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you have one, Laura? Do you have a favourite bodybuilder or anyone?
No.
I don't think she knows anymore.
That's so bad. Like I don't really know. I'm not gonna lie.
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Probably the only one I know.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you both very, very much for coming on. Really good to have you.
All right. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I will see you in about 5 days.
Yeah, good luck with it all. Hopefully
I'll be very brown. So.
Yeah.
Hopefully peak week is all right for you.
Yeah, good luck for the rest of the week.
Thank you. Loving it. So yeah. Awesome. Have a good evening, guys. Thanks a lot.
Lovely. See you soon.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.